two. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Extraordinary People. I'm Patricia. I'm going to introduce to you my guest today. So, my guest today will guide us through the land, her homeland. She will journey us through the seasons, digging into its culture, literally speaking. It is a beautiful story of this newfound discovery and appreciation of this aromatic heritage, which needs to be highlighted for others to learn, absorb, and cherish. She wants to transmit the story of her new love for aromatherapy and its virtues and how it complements her everlasting love for her country, Lebanon. Lebanon is not just skiing on the mountain and swimming in the sea on the same day. It is also rich in forests, sunny valleys, and abundant plant flora. My guest will introduce us to the benefits of essences and aromatherapy and give us an understanding of the valuable role they play on our health since the beginning of time. She will also bridge their enrichment to the tradition and the history of her native land and country of Lebanon and to their contribution to its future. I am happy you joined us for this invigorating episode. Please welcome my guest, Joumana Boustany.
Hi, Patricia.
Hi, Joumana.
Thank you for having me.
It's such a pleasure, and while you're telling the story, I fell in love with it also. So, because you tell it so beautifully, really. So, I was thinking maybe we can start by defining exactly what aromatherapy is.
Correct. So, aromatherapy is actually the science of healing with essential oils, but not only essential oils, anything that can come from aromatic plants like hydrosols or dried herbs, etc.
Salts also. Is that what you said? Hydrosalts?
Hydrosols is the water part
I
of
see.
the distillation process.
Okay.
So any distillation of aromatic plants will give you two parts. Will give you a water part,
The
which is
water.
the hydrosol, usually
I
charged with
see.
some kind of quantity of essential oils, and the essential oil that we separate from the water.
Okay.
So the essential oil is called essential oil from the word quintessence. And quintessence means it composes the heavenly bodies. It's the heart constituent of matter.
Now I understand, sorry, why they use it in marketing. Quintessence.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. So
Right.
quintessence
Okay.
is the fifth element after the four others. And essential oils are actually the heart of aromatic plants. It is the most concentrated part. So in the past, they were considered to be the quintessence of aromatic plants.
Okay.
This is where the word essential oils comes from.
Okay, very interesting.
It's also good to know that they are not really oils. They are oily parts, but they are volatile. This is why we smell them. This is why they give fragrance.
Oh, so that's why like olive oil, canola oil, corn oil, they don't really have a strong smell to them.
Exactly. These are not essential oils. They are plant oils or vegetal oils. They are not volatile.
Okay.
Essential oils are volatile. If you leave an essential oil open, it will disappear.
Right.
Okay?
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So aromatherapy is nothing new, actually. We have traces of use of aromatic plants in some kind and in somehow maybe 50,000 years back.
But they all had medicinal properties for them.
Exactly.
We didn't have Tylenol and Advil on the shelves at the
didn't,
time,
actually.
right? Yeah.
They were better off
Yeah.
before Panadol and Advil.
Right.
And so we have traces of aromatic plants in caverns in Kurdistan.
In the caverns,
In
there's
the
some
caverns,
aromatic plants?
Yes,
Oh.
remains of aromatic plants, powders of aromatic plants like John's wort, for example.
Okay.
And we also know that civilizations like Greeks, Romans, and Egyptians used aromatic plants heavily. I'm going to give you three very nice examples.
Okay.
One is from Egypt. They used to have something called the kifi.
The kifi.
The kifi is the perfume that used to be sprayed or diffused back in ancient Egypt. And actually it was made of around 60 different aromatic plants.
60 different?
Yes.
And where would they get all those 60 plants?
Around them.
Really?
So I'm sure old civilizations used to use whatever is available next to them.
Right, yeah.
So, and this perfume it's not a perfume actually, it was a sanitizer for the air.
Okay, right.
Another example is the Roman baths, where the Romans used to have aromatic plants everywhere, diffusing their essence. Roman baths were very dirty because people used to go wash there.
Yeah, it's the bath, obviously.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so people were not as hygienic as we are today. So they used to bath maybe one time a week or one time a month. I don't really know. And
Depending on your social class, probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
And so these aromatic plants were disseminated throughout the Roman baths to reduce the bad
Contamination
and
also.
contamination.
Would they put it in the water also, or is it just the vapor?
And the hot water and the vapors would just bring up the essences just the same way as we do distillations today.
And it worked?
And it worked. And you can be sure that old civilizations were wise enough to repeat winning strategies. So you use something, it works, you keep using it. You use something, it doesn't work, you let it go.
Right.
So when something lasts a long time in their traditions, it means that it was beneficial. The last example is when the Black Death hit Athens back in the days. Hippocrates was a renowned physician then, and he used to fumigate or burn 4 aromatic plants, of which were lavender and hyssop and marjoram, which are all available here around us.
Okay.
And he reduced the contamination and the dissemination of the disease with this practice.
Oh, really? Okay.
So
you're talking like about 2,000 or 3,000 years ago?
Maybe more even.
Okay.
And so aromatherapy, the word aromatherapy was coined in 1937 by a certain René Maurice Gattefossé, a French chemist. So the word aromatherapy is very new, but the practice of aromatherapy is very old.
It is. It's probably from the oldest practices that have existed.
And we have also traces in India, in China.
And has lasted till today.
And has reborn.
Reborn now.
Today.
Okay.
Because it was lost for some time, actually.
Okay.
And when René Maurice Gattefossé had an explosion in his lab, he burned both his hands.
Right.
And he was treated conventionally in the hospital. They put bandages around his hands. After a few weeks, he developed gangrene, and he was going to lose his hands. So he took it upon himself to remove the bandages and put his hands in lavender essential oil.
What made him think of that?
He had experiences with North Africa. He used to travel there often in Morocco, Algeria, to gather aromatic plants.
Okay.
And to learn from their practices. So he had some notion that this essential oil could be helpful for him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so he put both his hands in lavender essential oil, and surprisingly enough, or maybe not, he healed.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, he saved his hands completely just by putting
He saved himself because he was developing gangrena.
Right.
And so he is the new father of aromatherapy.
Okay.
Of course, today we believe that Ibn Sina or Avicenna, which is our Persian physician from the past, had written a pharmacopoeia in which there were more than 600 recipes of healing remedies. All from natural aromatic herbs and plants. And so Ibn Sina is the real father of aromatherapy. René Maurice Gattefossé is the new father of aromatherapy. Modern father.
Okay.
And he is at the origin of the rebirth of aromatherapy.
Okay.
He coined the term and he wrote a lot and he taught a lot around the science of aromatic plants. And today, I feel there is an even bigger interest in aromatherapy, especially after COVID.
Right. Yeah, I'd like to know, why are people more interested in it now? Yeah.
Actually, it's been maybe 20 years that aromatherapy has become a more popular trend. But COVID made people realize that maybe nature has solutions that we don't have, because we didn't really have anything at hand for COVID. We were all surprised, and we were all left without valuable answers.
Even till now, there's a question mark. We still don't know.
So.
Yeah.
I think so,
Okay.
yes. And so personally, I prevented contamination by COVID at home.
Right. I was going to ask you, what do we do? Okay.
Yeah, so very successfully, actually.
Oh,
And I was managing a brand back then that is an aromatherapy brand, and that had a spray, a purifying spray for the air. Very quickly we understood that this spray was very efficient in purifying the air and killing viruses.
okay. What essential oil would it have?
This spray has a lot of essential oils,
Oh, a
but
mix.
you can do
Okay.
your own diffusion at home with just 2 or 3 essential oils.
Okay.
And I think you would get a very significant efficacy as well in reducing the contamination from person to person, purifying the air, etc.
Sorry, just to interrupt for a
Yes.
second. So you said you prevented COVID in your home,
Yeah.
but does that mean you had like immunity when you would go out of the house?
I think it does increase immunity as well.
Okay.
Essential oils like eucalyptus and ravintsara can increase your immunity.
Okay.
And a lot has to do with your lifestyle.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
Of course, hygiene, eating habits, exercise, nutrition
Yeah.
level, etc. Of course, these are all very important. But on top of it, you can have this, and I'm convinced of that, and I think there is proof in science that essential oils can be a barrier between us and the virus.
Okay.
Okay, especially the virus.
Okay. I still didn't hear about aromatherapy against COVID.
Oh yes, it
So-
does work. And then I
Okay.
treated people with aromatherapy.
Really? Okay.
People who had COVID as well. So and it was, every time I did it, it was efficient.
Wow. Okay. Did
and
it like make the symptoms milder or things like this?
It made the disease quite short
Okay.
in time, and
I wish I knew
symptoms-
for
Yeah.
the summer. Yeah.
And it's quite easy also, Yani. Anyone can do it by himself at home.
Okay.
You know, it doesn't take a specialist, but at least you have to know which essential oils are advised in this situation and how to use them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So aromatherapy is very old, and I think it's witnessing quite an
Resurgence.
interesting resurgence just now after COVID.
Do you think it's also a distrust with big pharma a little bit?
Big pharma doesn't like these trends because it, yeah, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to talk to us about how you got into aromatherapy? Like it was during actually the COVID lockdowns that you started digging a little bit more into it and learning about it.
Actually, I had a significant shift from modern medicine to traditional medicine maybe more than 10 years ago.
Oh.
I'm a pharmacist, so I always worked for pharmaceutical companies.
Right.
And I came to a stage where I was not satisfied with how modern medicine prescribes, how modern medication works.
It was
etc.
commercial, maybe.
Not only. Modern medication usually addresses symptoms,
right.
but rarely looks at root causes and looks
Okay.
at a disease or a person in a holistic manner. This holistic approach to medicine is so important, really. And I think that if modern medicine and traditional medicine meet halfway, we would have the best medical care.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we need the new modern medicine tools. We absolutely need them in diagnosis, in treatment, etc. But we also do need to understand that organs cannot be treated each one alone. We have a body. Each organ communicates with all the others. We have neurotransmitters and hormones
The blood circulates throughout the whole
exactly.
body. It goes through everything, right?
Blood, hormones, lymph nodes, everything. We are just a connected system.
Right.
And we are not only connected inside, we are connected outside. We are connected to others.
Right.
This is also very important. Others have a big influence.
You mean
on
like the
our-
stress level or the mood or
Definitely,
morale?
definitely.
Okay.
Currently, I'm following. We're going out a little bit of my path, but I'm following a course in trauma and resiliency management in aromatherapy. And we
Okay.
start by understanding trauma, and you cannot imagine how the fact of being surrounded by people who can listen to your story and help you go through it can affect your neurological system, your hormonal system, the way your mood will be changed,
Okay.
and your healing mechanism.
And so how would that complement aromatherapy?
Well, it's just the way of seeing this holistic approach. It's
Okay.
a holistic approach not only within one's body, it's
Okay.
also a holistic approach within your community.
Okay.
So in the past, we used to have traumas, of course.
Yeah.
We used to heal as a
Yeah.
community. People
True.
would be surrounding the
Right.
hurting person or
Right.
the grieving person.
Right.
Today, maybe we are left on our own, maybe more than before, I don't know. So it's harder to go through trauma,
Right.
and we have a lower tolerance to stress and trauma as well. So going back to why I
Yes.
became an aromatherapist.
Yeah, I know you're very structured. We'll go back to that.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, it's okay. It's very good.
Yes. So more than 10 years ago, I started working with aromatherapy with very little knowledge. And so I built the knowledge step by step, starting using essential oils at home with my kids, with my husband, with my parents when they are open to the idea. Because
Yeah.
it's hard to be open
Right.
to the idea.
Yeah.
It's hard to trust
Definitely.
the idea.
Especially when you're used to something all your
Exactly.
life. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I understand it
Yeah.
perfectly.
Yeah.
So I started by, let's say, treating nausea, food poisoning,
Okay.
a throat ache, a headache,
Right.
and muscle
Rashes?
strains, rashes. Then it moved to asthma, and then every time I used aromatherapy, I'm not going to say that every time was a big success, but it was a small success. Next time, a better success, and then I realized that I also have some kind of an intuition
Right.
with regards to which essential oil, how to use it, how much does essential oil have of a place in the treatment. Sometimes you know that you have to go to medication. You
Yeah.
know?
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes there's no room for aromatherapy. Sometimes there is room for aromatherapy as a
Soothing.
yes, or an adjunctive medicine next to the medicine, etc., etc.
Well, I feel it's in your skin when you talk about it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's you, like it's just part of you right now.
I feel that
Yeah, yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
And so when COVID hit, I found it was the best time to just leave the corporate world. And
Oh, you left it completely
I-
during COVID.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay.
And
Even though you were really successful.
I like to think that I was
Yeah,
successful.
yeah, we have to make that point because it's a big
Yes.
step to do that. You
Yes,
know?
it is a big step. I
Yeah.
had almost 30 years of experience in the corporate world,
Doesn't
working
show.
in pharma business.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Is that aromatherapeutic also?
Could
To
be.
knock on wood.
Could be.
Okay, okay.
And so when I left work, it took me a few months to understand what I wanted to do. But the first thing I wanted to do was to study aromatherapy and make it more structured, and because I like structure.
Yeah, well, the structure is good because you're able to communicate the message really well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it fits in my head when it's
Yeah.
structured. If it's not, it doesn't fit.
Okay, it's so to our benefit.
Yes. And so I started a certification in the United States.
Online.
It's live online, so it's like a class, but everyone is in a country or at home. And so
Sorry, was there international students
yes,
with you? Oh, so that
yes.
makes it more interesting.
Yes, international
Yeah.
students. I had colleagues in Greece, in Crete, in Sardinia, in Switzerland.
Nice.
And I am very close to these people now. I know them. We communicate by WhatsApp, by email. We exchange experiences and knowledge and know-how. And my teacher, who is an amazing person, her name is Jade Schutz.
What a nice name, Jade.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's in the States, and she's a 30+ years aromatherapist with so much experience and knowledge. One can never
An
reach
encyclopedia,
that level,
probably.
really, probably.
Yeah.
And so I was fascinated and passionate. I never thought that I would still have the appetite to learn at this age, but turns out that I did.
Yeah, again for our benefit.
Yeah. And my benefit first. So I have to admit,
True.
I was very selfish in doing this because it took time from my family and everyone, but it was extremely interesting. And at the same time, we were going through difficult times in Lebanon, and I thought that each one should do something for this country.
Okay.
And I thought that maybe I should do something with aromatic products in Lebanon.
Sorry, just for a second. Just let me pause for a second, because you're talking
And
about.
I'll have a
Yeah,
sip of water.
for sure. So, were you thinking just on the line of the economic industry, or also because of the lack of medication that was missing in the country?
Not because of the lack of medication.
Okay.
I knew that the lack of medication issue was temporary, but I think that this country will only survive, and the people should survive if they are autonomous.
Yeah, sustainable.
In their lands. This is very important. I mean, the families and the small landowner, the farmer, if they are autonomous and they don't need to depend on a politician or on a party or on the government, these people will become strong.
Yeah, it gives them independent thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We need independent thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Freedom.
I love that. Yeah.
It gives you freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom to do whatever you want. And so when you have a small landowner who has to survive on his land, he can grow tomatoes, potatoes, and cucumbers, but so many people do that.
Right.
I don't know how much more can we do that.
Right.
And we have a wealth of aromatic plants in Lebanon. We have around 300.
That's amazing. You told me this, and I never knew it was so rich in such a
Yes.
small country.
We are a huge country.
Okay. I meant in size, but we are. Our soul is great.
Exactly.
Our soul is great.
And so we have 300, what we call MAPs, is medicinal and aromatic plants, MAP. So we have around 300. We have so many that I had to write down.
Did you discover this all recently, the 300?
Yes, this is
Wow.
a journey that I have started 2 years ago. I've been going around the country meeting producers, landowners, farmers,
Wow.
co-ops, small associations, small groups of people, distillers, and sometimes imposing my presence.
But I'm sure they
to learn.
appreciated it
They
afterwards once they understand
Yes,
your
they do.
concept.
They
And
do.
you told me that these people are so rich in themselves.
They are.
And
And they are
history
so
and knowledge.
knowledgeable.
Yeah.
They are so knowledgeable and they
Yeah.
are so wise also. Being close to the land makes you wiser, I think.
Did you learn from them like some different aromatherapeutic, what do you say, like healing from them?
Definitely.
Okay.
Each person I met along my journey has taught me something.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, not just from the books, I mean something different.
Definitely. And I have given them a lot of knowledge as well, because we have it in our heritage, the distillation of plants. You can start by knowing that our arak,
Right, yeah.
is a distillation process,
Oh,
actually. And
okay.
it contains so many aromatic herbs.
Really?
Yes,
From
it
the
does.
grape?
The grape, and then you add anise, and you
Anise.
add all these aromats in it that gives it. And most of spirits, most alcohols, also have a number of aromatic plants in them as well. Even
okay.
beer.
Yeah,
Okay?
beer, it's like hops or something like this.
Yeah, I'm not very familiar with the process.
Okay.
But and so these people most of the villages in Lebanon I visited, actually all of them,
Mm-hmm.
they have people who have their own small still at home.
Mm-hmm.
And still يعني كركة in
Okay.
Arabic,
Okay.
because people know the word in Arabic.
Right.
So this still is usually a small copper still.
Okay.
It's very, it's sometimes handcrafted, sometimes it's very simple.
Mm-hmm.
But they do their own orange blossom water, rose water, sage water, مي
Yeah.
القصعين, مي زهر, مي ورد.
Yeah.
We do مي الزعتر, oregano.
My zatar.
Yes.
What do you use my zatar for?
They use it as an antiseptic, antibiotic. It's extremely potent.
Really?
Yeah. So our grandmothers, grandfathers,
Yeah.
ancestors, they knew how to heal themselves
Right.
with all these maps, medicinal aromatic plants in our landscape.
Okay.
Okay, so we
Yeah.
have them at hand. You know, we don't have to go far.
Okay.
And we have this landscape that makes them grow very well. يعني
Right.
usually they need a bit of altitude. They need the
Okay.
sun.
Ah.
And they need exposure to wind.
So the mountains help.
Yes,
the mountain range
mountains,
helps.
exactly.
Okay. Okay.
Exactly. You have these aromatic plants, they grow at different levels depending on the plant, but then when you reach high altitude, you don't see them anymore.
Right.
Okay, you see them below.
Okay.
And starting from a certain altitude.
Okay.
And so these people, they actually all need to improve their skills in distillation, and they also need to know what to do with the product.
How to bottle it, you mean, and things like this?
How to bottle it, how to get the best essential oil they can have, and how
Okay.
to sell it after, where to sell it.
Oh, so you helped each one for this.
This is what I do now with my company, is to source my essential oils and my hydrosols and other naturals. I
Right.
call them naturals because they are all raw materials that are natural and that come from nature.
Right.
And so they have to know, they have to find a market for them. So this is what I'm trying to do, is to
Okay.
help them market their products through my platform. And the purpose is to highlight and promote our productions.
I can imagine them just like as you come to them, just like being an angel for them.
Not always.
Well, no, because you help them out so much, you know.
Yeah, sometimes I have to face, I don't know how you call stubbornness, because sometimes they have processes they've been following for like 100 of years, and then I tell them, oh, but it's better to do it this way, so we get the essential oil that we would want on an international level.
Yeah.
And they're not always
Right.
happy to hear that they have to change what they've been doing for years and years. So it really depends on their appetite for evolution, progress, and
Entrepreneurial spirit, maybe.
yes.
A bit. Okay.
The ones who can see where they can go, then they are open to
Is there many young people?
more and more.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh.
more and more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, a lot of people are going more into education, universities, and stuff. So there's still people that are working the land, and they are.
You'd be surprised at the number of people I have met that have left the city, either bought, rented, or used an available land in their family to grow something.
Nice.
And market it.
There's just
a number
something
of examples.
there's something also therapeutic with just working the land.
I am sure there is.
Yeah.
I don't own a land and I don't plant, unfortunately. I don't have the privilege of working with the land. I wish I did. But I think that they have some kind of peace in them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're connected to the earth.
Exactly. So in the last 2 years, I have discovered
The seasons.
the seasons in Lebanon in a different lens, from a different lens. And I have discovered also regions. Each region has a specialty in aromatics. Let's say, for example, orange blossom grows in the south.
Okay.
Citruses as well. The rose in the Bekaa Valley.
Oh, the roses in the Bekaa Valley?
Yeah. Because they need the altitude. You know, our Bekaa Valley has around 1,000 meters of altitude. And so it gets a perfect space for aromatics.
Also because it's open?
It's open, it's sunny, and the soil. Apparently, I'm not a specialist, but it seems that the soil is excellent for the roses. And we have a lot of roses. The Rosa Damascena.
Is it any color of rose, or it has to be
No.
the red one?
No, it's not the red one. It's
Oh.
a very pinkish rose. It's
Oh.
called Rosa Damascena.
Oh.
In Arabic, it's le Ward de Jouri.
Okay.
In French, la rose de Damas.
Yes.
In English, damask rose.
Yeah. Why Damask? Because it's in the it's in the Bekaa
it's
Valley.
in the Bekaa. Not only it's in Turkey and
Okay.
it's in Morocco, Egypt. It's a bit everywhere in the area.
Right.
It started in India actually.
Oh.
But a century ago, the biggest distillation hub was Damascus. This is where
the business
roses were going for distillation, and the essential oil would go from Damascus to the rest of the world.
Okay.
Today, the damask rose is distilled mainly in Bulgaria and Egypt.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And Egypt. Do they have roses also?
They do.
Oh, okay. So they have the climate for it.
Yeah.
It's not too much of a desert, I guess.
No,
Oh, okay.
you have the Nile and very fertile lands around it.
True.
So the journey across Lebanon through aromatics is very interesting.
So wait, you said orange blossom starts in April.
Yes, in April we harvest the flower of the orange blossom tree.
Okay.
And it's actually the bousfer.
Okay.
شجرة البوسفير.
I didn't know it was bousfer.
Yeah,
bitter orange.
Bitter orange tree.
Yeah. Okay.
So actually this orange is so bitter you can't eat it. We use it in the كبة أرنبية.
Yeah.
But we just squeeze the inside. If you put anything else, you can't eat the كبة.
Okay.
So it's very, very complicated.
Very potent. Okay.
And it's very tricky.
Okay.
People know how to use it, not everybody.
But they make jams of it.
With the peel.
Right.
With a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of sugar.
A lot of sugar.
Okay.
So what you do is that before the fruit comes out, you have to harvest the flowers because the flowers turn into fruit. So before the fruit, you harvest the flower, and it's very poetic. It's probably my favorite harvest.
Really?
It is really very poetic because it grows in lands that are very plain, and the trees are beautiful. They are very small trees, actually.
Oh, okay.
In French, we call them le petit bigarade. They are small trees.
Oh, okay.
And the flower, you have to pick it before it opens.
Oh, it has to be closed.
Just the day before it opens.
The day before it opens?
Yes.
And you know the day before it opens?
This is where the essence is the most concentrated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they know. They have the knowledge,
Yeah,
you know. They've been doing my zahar since ages.
Yeah.
And then but it shows. It's about to open, you know. It's like the petals are still closed, but they are about to open, and then they pick them. And it smells heavenly. And so the land smells heavenly.
Wow.
And these ladies, they pick, and in the baskets, it looks wonderful. And
I
if you pick up one open flower, it's just so beautiful, really.
It must be. So now I have a new appreciation if ever I'm going to drink the white coffee now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so when you take these orange blossoms and you distill them, and you get two things. Mainly, you get mais zahar, which is the hydrosol part.
Right, the water part.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you do the process in a certain manner and you have big enough stills, then you can extract the essential oil, which is orange in color.
Okay.
And
You explained that's why there's that little orange part in the bottle. Right.
So if they don't remove the essence, it will be at the top of the
So you know it's a better
hydrosol.
quality water, orange blossom water, if there's a little bit of orange on top or the little
You
residue or not?
You can't really say better quality. For example, in Europe, you cannot import orange blossom water that has the essential oil in it.
Oh.
For safety reasons.
Okay.
In Lebanon, we think it's better when you see the residue because you know it's rich in essence.
Okay.
So this essential oil is actually a very expensive essential oil, and it is sought after everywhere in the world for perfumery and cosmetics.
Oh, okay.
And it is called the neroli essential oil.
Does it have any healing properties?
It does.
Oh,
it does. It has.
For the stomach?
It has.
Or not really?
It's a soothing essential oil. It's antispasmodic. This is why we use it in our white coffee,
Yeah.
when you use the mai zahar, you have to know that all hydrosols, or the water part of the distillation, they have a diluted amount of essential oil in them.
Okay.
So when you use white coffee, when you drink white coffee, you're having the same properties as the essential oil, but in a smaller
Dose.
concentration.
Yeah. Okay.
And so it will help your digestive tract to relax,
Mm.
and it will help you sleep.
Oh, it helps sleep too.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
definitely.
Nice. Okay.
So neroli essential oil is an antidepressant, it's an anxiolytic, it's a mood enhancer.
Oh.
We use it in so many different ways.
Oh, okay.
But it's an expensive essential oil, so we usually find alternatives.
Okay. It's more expensive than the rose.
No, the rose is more expensive.
Okay.
So the rose is in May.
Is in May.
We harvest the rose in May.
Okay.
In the early morning, so you have to be there before the sun hits. And you have the flowers that have opened overnight. So every morning you go to the shrubs. Every morning they have new flowers. And you pick the flowers before the sun hits them.
Wow.
It's very early in the morning, and you pluck them. It's a very nice feeling. I did it this spring. And you pluck them and you put them in big baskets like this, and you walk around with this heavy load of flowers,
Yeah.
and the essences come out. I
You
mean,
can
really, I
feel
think
it,
it's the most poetic business on earth.
Yeah, I can
I think
imagine.
so, I
Because
don't
I
know.
feel like I just feel like I told you I feel like running in the meadow right now.
Exactly.
I'm becoming.
So orange blossom and then rose are two magic events, actually.
More than other essentials.
Yes, because the harvest is more poetic.
Okay.
When you move to lavender, end of June, July, you have to cut it with those,
Oh,
those.
so it's yeah.
It's less poetic than plucking flowers or
Okay.
picking delicately.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, essential oils of flowers are more poetic than essential oils of leaves or
Yeah,
roots, or
right.
it's
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so in June and July we harvest lavender, but you have to know that lavender is not endemic to Lebanon. So we didn't have lavender.
But it's very
here.
popular now.
It's very popular, and we've had lavender since a long time in Lebanon because it grows beautifully here.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, all kinds of lavender.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Oh, different kinds of lavender grow.
There are so many different kinds of lavender. The most popular one is called the English lavender, or true lavender.
Okay.
In Latin, Lavandula angustifolia.
Okay.
And this is the most common lavender.
Did you remember all? Did you memorize all the scientific names?
I didn't have to memorize, believe it or not, because my teacher, she's
Yeah.
an amazing person. She told us from the first lesson, she
Yeah.
told us, if you try to learn everything by heart, you will be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
You have to let the process, it's a process, really.
Okay.
And then when I have to work with an essential oil, I dig into it and I learn about it, and then it stays in my head. And now I think I know the Latin names of more than 100 essential or plants or essential oils, but not because I sat down and learned them like I did it at school, just because I had to encounter them, socialize with them, learn to know them better.
You picked them, extract, distill, did the whole process.
Used it in my formulations, in my products, in my healing, at home. And actually, I brought with me 2 essential oils for us to smell.
Yeah, yay.
But they are in my bag.
You can get them.
I can get them?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I chose these 2 because they are amazing for a moment like this one.
Okay.
Yeah, so here we have vetiver,
Okay.
which is an essential oil that comes from a root. This one is from Indonesia.
The vetiver is from Indonesia.
Yes. And this is myrrh, and myrrh is a resin that comes from Somalia.
Okay.
And both of them together.
Oh, you mix them together?
Yes, what you do is put them next to each other and smell them like this. And you will see.
It's so poetic.
Tell
the way
me
you
how
do
you
it.
feel.
I feel like this.
Exactly.
I don't know how to
me,
put it into
these
words.
2 essential oils are like my favorite go-to blend when I want to focus and feel rooted and
Calm down.
calmed, definitely. And how can I say? Uh, Introverted, but not in a negative manner.
Right.
Just
Solid.
solid,
Yeah.
and when I don't want other noise around me to
Yeah.
affect me.
Yeah.
So you want to be focused on what's happening
Kind of like a
inside of you.
meditation experience.
Exactly.
Right.
And you said the right word, because myrrh is a resin like incense that was used thousands of years ago in spiritual healing and spirituality in general. Um, and it used to help people meditate,
Yeah.
concentrate, and create a connection with the divine.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So when I smell these two together, I think I feel better.
And these are both, there is a culture for them in Lebanon?
No.
Oh,
No.
okay.
No,
Okay.
not at all. But you cannot limit your aromatherapeutic catalog to what grows here, because we have 300 medicinal herbs. We only distill around 10.
Oh,
And
okay.
it would be too bad not to take advantage of other essential
Of course,
oils,
yeah.
like these two, for
Yeah,
example,
yeah.
which are really one of my favorites.
There isn't any incense here
No,
in Lebanon.
but we have a nice story about
Yeah,
incense
please
in
tell us
Lebanon.
the story. I know this story, so please tell us.
Yeah.
It's nice.
So incense actually is a resin that we get from scarring trees. And this tree is called Boswellia carteri. And it grows usually in Yemen, Oman, Somalia. There are different Boswellia trees, but the most common is the Boswellia carteri. And so when you scar it, it will develop a resin.
What does scarring mean? Like going
Yeah,
like
you
this?
just cut the comment on dit?
Écorce.
L'écorce, yeah.
Yeah,
The bark.
right, the
You
bark.
cut the bark of the
Right.
tree, and the tree sees that like an aggression, so it will excrete this resin that is a healing balm, actually.
Oh,
All resins are healing balms.
Okay. For the tree itself.
And for us.
Yeah, but I
same
mean the
properties.
tree
Yes.
excretes it to heal itself.
Exactly.
Okay.
So this is amazing when you understand nature, how it works, and you mimic it, or you just observe and learn. I have so many stories about
I can
observing
imagine.
trees and learning. And so the tree will develop this resin, and the resin will grow all along the scar and will harden. And it will be insecticide, it will be an insect repellent, it will help fungus go away, it will help bacteria die, and then the tree will heal.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And it has the same properties for us.
So it's a natural antibiotic.
It's a natural antibiotic, it's a regenerative. So when you have wounds and scarring and wounds that heal very slowly or difficultly, or scars, it's very nice to use resins like incense or myrrh.
Oh, okay.
And cistus as well.
Right.
So these resins are produced by the tree, for example, the Boswellia carteri, to protect this the tree. So it has become a culture. They scar the tree, the bark produces this resin, and they pick it up when it hardens, and then they distill it.
Does
And
the tree feel pain afterwards when they remove
I
it?
don't think so.
Okay.
Trees love us as long as we treat them well and we
True.
keep them in a
Yeah.
sustainable manner. We have to use nature in a sustainable manner.
Of course.
Yeah. And so remind me this topic brings us to a person that I met that is now writing a new book about the relationship of man and trees.
Okay.
And so this incense was part of this big spice road that used to link China, India to Europe and Egypt in the past. And this road used to pass by Lebanon. Okay? And even Rimbaud, the poet, used to head caravans from Yemen, Somalia, through Lebanon to Europe.
Why would he head a caravan?
This is what he did. This was his job.
Oh, he was
The
just a
last
poet
10
on the
years.
side?
Yes.
Yes,
this was his job. And then he got sick, went back to Europe and died. But the last 10 years of his life, Rimbaud was leading caravans of spices and incense.
Okay. I
And
guess it
and
inspired him
silk,
a lot.
of course.
Yeah.
I guess silk used to pass by the same road.
Right.
And so when these caravans of incense would cross Lebanon, they would go through the Mount Lebanon, which was white in the winter. It was covered with snow, and it was called Leban. Leban means white in Semitic languages. And so the Leban became Lebanon, and O Lebanon, the O is thought to come from oil, the ancient oil in Greek.
Okay.
And so the word O Lebanon is the word for incense.
From that area.
No,
Oh.
incense everywhere in the
Oh, all
world is
incense?
called O Lebanon.
Oh, okay. Oh.
And it is thought that it is called this way because it used to pass by our mountains.
Oh, nice.
So we do not
Interesting.
produce incense, but we affected the life of incense,
Right,
or
the
the
history.
destiny of incense
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah.
So this is about incense. And frankincense, which is the name of the incense essential oil, is really one of my favorite essential oils as well.
It's one of the most popular, I think, also.
It is very
isn't it?
popular because you can never go wrong.
Right.
You said that the other day.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
never go wrong with frankincense. It's just it's healing for it's a healer actually. And if you have a wound, whether it is an internal wound, emotional or
Okay.
psychological wound, or a physical wound, it will work on both.
Okay.
And I tried that on a friend who was a victim of the blast.
I was going to ask you about that. If
Yeah.
it can help the people who are traumatized.
It does. Trauma is, this certificate I'm doing now is called Trauma-Informed Aromatherapy. So it's an aromatherapy that is led by people who are informed about trauma and the cascade of events inside our bodies that are generated by trauma.
How
Small
it's stress.
traumas,
Right.
big traumas, old traumas, new traumas.
Yeah.
Um,
There are so many different categories for aromatherapy, actually. It's very wide.
It is. I
Yeah.
think it's an endless educational road I'm on.
Well, I mean, the origin of all well, I don't know if you call it modern medicine or traditional medicine, the origin is all from herbs anyways.
Yes, that would be
Yeah.
modern medicine.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
it has origin definitely in
Yeah,
herbs.
so it just evolved
Yes,
chemically, I guess,
exactly.
through scientific research and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is why I say that we have to be able to take advantage of modern medicine, but always keep in mind that each human is a whole person. He's not just an organ.
Right.
You see, you cannot only treat the stomach.
Yeah,
If
you
we have a
to
stomach upset, you have to understand why is this person
Exactly.
suffering from stomach upset.
Right.
Yeah.
You connected with somebody. So please tell us this story.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was about a year through my journey when I was sitting at the TV, and then on Arte there was an interview by Elisabeth Klein with a person called Dominique Roch. He is a sourcer of essential oils throughout the world. And he had written a beautiful book called Cueilleur d'Essence, in which he relates his adventures across the world, searching for the best essential oils and developing productions from Laos to Somalia, to Bulgaria, and I was
South America.
South America.
Yeah.
And I was just drawn to this book and fascinated about each and every single story when I bought it afterwards.
It reflects you very well. Yeah.
Maybe it made me like this. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe it's the other way around.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyway, when he started the interview that day, he said a sentence that I wrote here so that I don't say it wrong.
Okay.
So he said, I have to say it in French.
Okay. We'll translate
Yes. L'encens et le bois de cèdre du Liban sont les deux parfums fondateurs de l'humanité.
Oh, I wanted to get to that. I'm glad you mentioned it.
Yeah.
So the
So,
incense.
meaning the incense and the Lebanese cedar are the two perfumes that are maybe at the origin.
The origin
of
of humanity. Right.
And when he said that, I was starting my journey, or I had started
Wow, that puts
studying.
us up on a huge pedestal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I said, if this person who's such a knowledgeable person in essential oils and essences, in anthropology, in history. He knows about all civilizations. And when he said that, it means it really meant something.
Definitely.
So I did the crazy thing.
Yeah.
That was to distill Lebanese cedar wood, which hasn't been done for, I think, centuries.
Because most of the forests are reserved, so you're not allowed to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our forests are protected now,
Yeah.
so we cannot even touch a fallen tree. So I got in touch with different people, one of which takes care of a forest of cedars that is not a reserve. And in this forest, they do cut branches sometimes to make way for hiking trails.
Oh.
Okay. And they do it in a sustainable manner,
Okay.
with respect to the trees, etc. Because
Okay.
they have an NGO that is
Is
governing
helping
their
them.
work,
Oh,
etc.
okay.
So it's done properly.
Okay.
And so they agreed to give me cedar wood branches. And we have to say here that the Lebanese cedar is not the same as the other cedars. There are
Okay.
4 cedars in the world.
Okay.
The Himalayan cedar.
In
the
Himalaya?
Yes.
Ah,
The
okay.
Cypriot cedar. The Atlas cedar, which lives in Morocco, Algeria,
Okay.
which is called the Cedrus atlantica.
Okay.
And our cedar, which is the noblest of all, and has
Cedar of God, they
and
call it.
it
Yeah.
bears a very spiritual meaning.
Yes.
It is the cedar of God.
Yeah.
It is called Cedrus libani
Ah, the scientific
in
name.
in botanics.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And so
That was easy to remember, probably.
yes,
for you.
Cedrus libani was easy to remember. And so I did this first distillation of Lebanese cedar wood essential oil. It
You
just
must
smelled.
have been so excited to do it.
I was excited, and the smell was like heavenly. It was noble. It was exactly what I expected. And I tried to get in touch with this person, Dominique Roch, although I was not sure I was going to be able to. And I tried in every single way, but couldn't reach him anyway. And finally, I said, let's try the most simple mean, which is Instagram. So I followed him on Instagram. He followed me on Instagram, and I sent him an Instagram message. I think it's the longest Instagram message in the history of
So
Instagram
you're lucky
messages.
he had the patience to read it all.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it was a very long message, but I had to explain the whole story, that I do this, and I listened to him, and then I did this, and at the end I said, I want to give you the Lebanese cedar essential oil.
He must have been like...
He was just so happy that I got in touch, and he gave me an appointment, and we met in Paris. And I gave him the essential oil, and when I gave him the bottle and he smelled it,
you didn't take a picture of him when he did it?
No, because I didn't know him well, and I was intimidated. For me, he was
because it would have been nice to have that moment.
He was like this huge mountain of knowledge for me.
Just to capture the moment, it would have been interesting.
But it is captured in my head, because when he smelled the essential oil, I felt his emotion. And
because you went through it.
Yes, exactly. And he said, I think I'm the only person alive today that has smelled Lebanese cedar wood essential oil.
Wow, so you made this huge achievement. You accomplished something amazing.
I don't know if it's an achievement, but for me...
You were tenacious enough to do it.
It just, for me, it started a new phase in my life.
Okay.
And so the most interesting part of this meeting was that when we sat there and we were having lunch, and I was not able to eat because I was so interested by everything he was telling me and what I had to tell him, etc. He unveiled that he was writing a second book, because I had already read his first one, and I was fascinated by it. And that his second book was about the relationship between man as in humankind, and trees and forests. And he considered that the first encounter between man and forest happened right here in Lebanon with the cedars of God. Okay, with the story of Gilgamesh.
So what does he mean by encounter?
It's when man stopped fearing forests, went into the forest and cut the trees.
Yeah, because before it was They're afraid from beasts
Exactly.
or something. Okay.
Exactly. So they
Okay.
didn't go into the forest.
Ah, okay.
And this opened a new era to humankind. I'm not the right person to talk about this. Someday,
but
maybe you'll host him.
Oh my God, that would be
Why
an
not?
honor.
I'm sure it will happen because. So this new book he is writing, which I'm not allowed to give the name, but the name is amazing. This new book is all about this the cedars of Lebanon, among two other. I mean, there are two other trees.
Only 3 books?
Only
I mean,
three
only
chapters, or
yeah.
4 chapters, I think.
Yeah, only 3 trees.
Yes.
I mean, right.
Yes.
Oh,
so
okay.
one is the sequoias.
Oh,
and
right,
then
right.
there
You
are
told
the
me now.
cedars, and
Yeah.
there's a third one. But the biggest chapter is about the cedars. And he told me, I've never visited Lebanon and I've never seen the cedars, but I have to see them in order to write this book. So it took me 6 months to convince him to come to Lebanon.
Yeah.
And he finally accepted my invitation. I was so happy about that. And we had 1 week. And in that week, last
Intense.
May,
Yes.
we visited almost 10 forests of cedars in Lebanon.
Just cedar forest.
Just cedar
I
forest.
didn't know we had 10 forest cedars.
Yeah, me
cedar
neither.
forest.
I didn't know. I mean, I did this research
Right.
and I brought up names and people, and I contacted the reserve directors and botanic specialists, forestry specialists, and I had him meet so many people as well. And we had this itinerary over 6 days that was so intense. So we visited Tanourin cedars, which I didn't know existed even.
Right.
We visited Bsharri, which is a
Yes.
very small forest, but it is very old trees.
Okay.
We visited Ihden, we visited Jej, we visited Ihmej, and then the
Okay.
3 forests of the Shuf Reserve,
yeah.
Niha as well.
Are they all different kind of cedars, or they're all the same?
Each reserve is different. Some have very old trees, some have very young trees. And it's very interesting to see the diversity. I thought that visiting 10 reserves would be boring, but each reserve brought something new.
Really?
And then it was like a journey, learning about how these cedars were cut, how they were transported, how they were put in rivers when it was winter, and then when the snow would melt, the water would take the trees,
the logs. Yeah.
Take them down
Towards the sea.
to Jbel,
Wow.
Batroun. There is a.
So that's how they would transport the logs to the sea
Yes.
from the mountain. Wow.
There is a bridge next to Jbel called. They call it today Jisr al-Djej.
Really?
Yes, but actually it's
The
not
bridge
Jisr
of chicken.
al-Djej.
It's
It's Jisr al-Djej.
Oh.
Yeah, because it brings
So
the
not
logs
Jej,
down.
Jej.
But they call it Djej.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What does Jej mean?
Jej is the forest. It's one of the reserves.
Oh, okay.
It's a beautiful reserve, by the way. It's above Batroun. And it was one of the most important forests where they used to cut these trees and send them down the rivers, Nahr Ibrahim, and then it would go down to
I
this
guess for
area that is
practical
now
reasons. Right.
the bridge of Jej.
Right. Ah.
And so we went through the whole process. I took him to Byblos
Did
as
he know
well.
about this?
We dug.
Or you learned it on the spot?
He had notions. He had a lot of information about the civilizations who populated Lebanon, the Phoenicians. He knew all about our history, the history of this area. He knew a lot, much more than me.
Really?
But then we learned more, along the way.
This was his first visit to
Yes,
Lebanon.
yes.
I'm surprised he didn't come before.
Yes.
Okay.
Never too late.
Yeah.
And he's going to come back, I hope, because his book is all about us, and he is hoping to come and launch it here as well.
I was going to say
I'm looking forward to that, really.
Yeah,
and there's another
imagine.
surprise when the book comes out, but I'm not going to say anything now.
Okay.
The title of the book and
The surprise.
another thing.
Oh, nice. Okay. We're looking forward to it.
Yes, me too.
Okay.
And so we even went to the port of Byblos, where historically the boats would take the logs and take them to Egypt for building temples, for building boats, etc.
Wow, how much work that would take. Okay.
Amazing.
I'm always fascinated by history.
And they didn't have fuel.
Yeah.
And they didn't have trucks.
Yeah,
and
they just had their own bodies
exactly.
and innovation, however they can do it.
They were very smart.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's good to know, since we are talking about the cedars, that this is one important landmark in our aromatic history or heritage, is that these cedars used to be cut, and then along with the logs, we used to export something we used to call the cedrelum.
Okay.
And today,
Which is?
I'm still not sure what it was made of, but it
what
was
is
definitely made of an essence of the cedar trees, our trees.
Okay.
And this essence, we have scientific proof in many different articles I have read, that this essence was made with the cedars of Lebanon. We don't know if it was made from the resin or from the wood or from the cones or from the needles, and we are not sure.
Okay.
But it was definitely used in the mixture for embalming pharaohs. So we say the cedrelum is the essence for the gods. Okay.
There's no way to discover that right now?
I'm working on that, trying to understand. There are some people in France that have some knowledge and databases that can help. I'm hoping to get there somehow.
Wow.
It's the subject of my thesis in my aromatherapy
you're doing a thesis
studies.
now?
Yes, in
wow,
aromatherapy.
that's gonna go into history.
I don't know. In my history, at least.
Yeah.
And so this cedrelum is probably was used for embalming pharaohs, but was also used to coat, was part of the composition of the coating of the Phoenician boats, and this is why they used to be so resistant to water.
Caulking. That was the word
That's
we were looking for.
That's the word we're looking for, exactly.
Yeah, I checked it out today.
So this is how Lebanon has a very rich and very old, very ancient heritage in aromatics.
Yeah, I because we always mention the mountains and the sea, but there's so much more. There's so much more to our environment that we should appreciate and highlight.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I'm so happy that you're here to teach us all about this.
Yes, so promoting this heritage is dear to me, and we can definitely start encouraging local productions of essential oils and other naturals. And when I say other naturals, I mean hydrosols, plant oils, dried herbs, sea salt. Sea salt is used in cosmetics and soap making.
From the sea, you mean?
Yes, in Enfe we produce our own sea salt.
Right.
We shouldn't be importing salt.
That's true. Why do we import salt?
I don't know.
Like many other products.
Well, one has to admit that in the last 30 years, our economy has not been based on developing our own sustainability.
No.
Unfortunately, in many different
sectors.
Exactly. So we do sugar.
Oh, really?
We produce sugar from sugar canes.
We have sugar canes?
We have sugar canes, and we have the beetroot. We produce sugar from beetroots and sugar canes.
Beetroot, okay, but I didn't know that we had sugar canes also.
And so, we do.
Wow.
And so we could be autonomous on so many different sectors.
We also have the know-how, we have the human resources, we just need the encouragement maybe, finance also.
We need capacity building, definitely, because I think a lot of people forgot how to produce these things.
Yeah.
And we need funding, definitely.
Yeah.
And we need to
Support.
do the extra effort of looking for local productions rather than buying what's available over the shelf. And unfortunately, but maybe fortunately as well, today our productions are small. And you know that producing small costs more. So our productions are still a bit pricey. We have to work towards making them more economical, more sustainable.
But they are quality products.
They are quality products, and we are working on quality. This is a major aspect. And we need to develop traceability as well, because we can't just sell an essential oil without having traceability to the seed that was planted, the soil it was planted in, the way it was grown, the way it was harvested, the way it was prepared for distillation, the way it was distilled, and then the way it was processed. So the whole process has to be traced back to the first step. And this
For
is how
credibility.
for credibility and for standards also. You know, you have to be able to sell a product that is not necessarily same, because then we wouldn't have any particularity, but at least that reaches a certain standard in quality.
So you're at the base now of a buzzing industry, if we can call
Yeah, I
it.
hope it's buzzing, yes, and I think it
You're
is,
getting it
because
moving,
I'm also working with a number of groups of women and people who are developing a distillation activity, and they have everything to learn. They don't know anything.
Right, and
Yeah.
you're promoting also women to work and be a little bit more independent?
Not me, a
Well,
certain
I mean,
NGO, but I'm
okay.
helping along, yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
But thanks to you, obviously,
Yeah,
in a way.
I'm contributing.
Yeah,
I'm contributing. This
I
is
know.
important.
I realize you're being humble, but I mean,
No, I am being realistic,
yeah.
because
But it's thanks to you that this process
unfortunately
has
I
started.
don't have the means myself
No.
to do these investments. Some people are doing them, some parties are doing them. There are donors, there are NGOs that are working
But you
towards.
opened their eyes. Can we agree to that?
Maybe,
Okay.
maybe yes. Yeah, some yes. Some have opened my eyes as well.
Okay.
And I hope so. I wish that Lebanon, my aromatic Lebanon, I call it, will be even more aromatic in the future.
So if anybody wants to get in touch with you, or for more information, or if they'd like to purchase an essential oil, should they do it through your Instagram account?
Yes, Cedar Mount _aromatics.
Okay.
This is my page, and it will soon host all the products that we already have available for sale.
Yeah.
I haven't posted products
Yeah,
yet
you
because
haven't
they
yet.
are not available
Yeah.
for sale. But I'm already working with a number of cosmetic producers,
also.
soap producers,
Okay.
etc. And
In Lebanon.
and I help them source their needs in essential oils
Right.
from Lebanon rather than importing them from outside.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as I was saying, sometimes it's a bit pricey. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Because when you import essential oils from China and India, you get sometimes a lower price.
But you
quality
get the same quality?
compromise, especially on the aromatics that are endemic to Lebanon. You know, so importing an essential oil of marjoram or rosemary just doesn't make any sense. We have it right here. We should be able to grow and produce essential oils right here in Lebanon for those plants.
Is it easier to control the industry here for the quality control? I mean, like when you're talking about China and India, they're huge.
Yeah.
So would it be a little bit more easier to control the quality of the product here?
I don't know if I'm able to answer the question, because I would have, if I had my own distillation plant, I would say yes right away, because I know I would put all these standards in place so that we get the quality essential oil. But today I have selected producers for each essential oil, the ones that I believe are doing it the best and are able to develop and improve.
Okay.
So we have a beautiful lavender essential oil.
Yeah.
We have a beautiful Lebanese sage essential oil. We have a beautiful sage. We have a very nice neroli. We have rose, laurel.
This is from my garden. It's
Yeah?
rosemary.
Yeah.
Can we make essential oil from it? Just out of curiosity.
From this quantity?
No, not
No.
from this quantity. But I mean from this
Yes,
quality
definitely.
if you want. Oh,
Definitely.
we can.
Yeah,
Okay.
I smelled it a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
So we can just from the garden we can. Well, I
Yes.
mean, like you said, you need a good
Yes.
quantity, but I mean.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
It's a very nice rosemary. So we shouldn't be importing essential oil of rosemary.
We should take advantage of our treasures
Exactly.
and our heritage.
Like we shouldn't be importing olive oil, for example.
We do?
I see on supermarket
Sometimes,
shelves Italian olive oils,
Yeah,
etc.
that's true.
Yeah,
But I think most people they buy the.
I think so too.
the
I think so
homegrown.
too. So
Yeah.
the same way we look at olive oil, we should be looking at our essential oils.
Agreed.
But what I'm happy about is that all my clients, and I like to say they are friends, because we are friends, they are very open and very keen on buying local. Yeah,
I'm right now, the past few years, that's all I've been trying to do.
Exactly.
Even clothes, I mean, just anything, whatever we
Exactly.
can. And we have the talent,
we do.
we have the quality, so why
We do.
not?
Yes, yes, and we have to improve.
Yeah.
We have to improve.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
But I mean, whatever we have, we
Yeah.
can start from there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Joumana, thank you so much.
Thank you, Patricia.
Such an enriching episode. I learned so much, and I have a new appreciation of where I am right now, and for the history, the culture, the earth, everything.
Yeah, thank you for your interest in my Aromatic Lebanon
You
and
have
my
a-
journey.
Yeah, you say it so beautifully. You
Thank
can't
you.
help but be captivated by it.
Thank you. I'm
So
flattered.
thank you so much,
Thank
and
you.
we're looking forward to more stories, and maybe another
There
episode.
will be.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Oh,
There
the
will
second
be.
book also.
And the second book.
The second book.
Yes, definitely.
So thank you
Definitely.
so much.
Thanks again.
Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.